Protea Financial. Welcome to episode 35. And can you believe it? It is August 2024. Not quite sure how we got here. July seemed to have flown by. Truly one of the quickest months I've experienced in a really long time. But a good month, got a lot of great time with the family. And now we're getting ready into what is, for me, my personal busy season. Um, I kicked it off by running a half marathon, which I was definitely not well trained for. It was only my 25th run of the year, and I don't think I had gone past 5 miles before I decided, because a friend asked, to go ahead and run this half marathon in the trails of the Marin Headlands, about 2,600 feet of climbing, 13 miles. My goal was 3 hours. I came in about 2 hours, 43 minutes. I'll take that. Feeling it today still a little bit. Literally, I could see the finish line. I had one little corner left to go, and my right calf decided enough's enough and went into full on cramp and spasm to the point my foot was sticking up in the air. I was able to squeeze it out and walk over the line. Probably cost me a good minute. I should check when the results come out to see. I was running with a lovely person from Kansas. Him and I picked each other up at about mile 3, and we basically ran together for the last 10 miles. Wonderful conversation with him. Really enjoyed it. But that's the way I started my August. And it gets busier for me because, for me, as maybe you guys know, maybe you don't, I also work with the Nevada Youth Soccer Association, where I am the vice president of rec soccer. So I am responsible, ultimately responsible for a successful rec season with over 1,000 players, ranging from pre-K age group through to high school. Um, I've been packing bags this week, making sure we're getting registrations done, checking in on fields, restocking fields, trying to make some considerations on where we're going to draw some lines. So we have fields, and we have a kickoff meeting with coaches on Thursday, which I'm pretty excited for. And then hopefully, if all goes well, I'll start coaching next week, Monday through Thursday. I will coach my 2 teams. Super excited for that. Have no idea what my kids are going to be like, but I know it's always going to be fun. I look forward to teaching the game of soccer, building a passion, and most importantly, teaching them teamwork and the importance of looking after each other. So August through November, I'm super busy with that, but I am excited. I love coaching. I do coach sport all year round, be it some flag football, some baseball, but most importantly, my biggest passion is soccer. So that's a little catch up of where I'm at and where my busy season comes into. It is also the busy season for our clients because in August, we are in the wine industry. It's time for those grapes to come off the vines and make sure that it's great quality to make great product to sell to wonderful people who can enjoy it and make some memories. So we'll start seeing that being picked up in the second half of August, September being really busy, and that'll run through October. I've spoken about on this platform and other platforms before, the wine industry is having a tough year. If you're a grower, it's a really tough space at the moment because there is an oversupply, but that's okay. We need to still assess what we've got, and people need to make some really good decisions. And I say good decisions because I think saying tough decisions put a negative connotation on it. But there are decisions that need to be made. Do we pick? Do we press? Or do we go ahead and drop some of that fruit? And those are tough decisions that people will have to consider, especially considering the effects on their cash flow. And do they have the capacity to hold on to that wine for a long period of time in case something goes up? Now, it's been a pretty dry summer. We effectively went from winter to summer with no real spring taking place. So, there is a chance that Mother Nature sort of takes care of some of our grape issues. Let's hope not. We're waiting, hoping, and praying for a quieter fire season this year. But there has been some big ones already. Luckily, so far, not too much effect on it. But that is sort of shaping the next couple of months for me as well, not just from my client standpoint, but also just sort of the soccer standpoint as well, because that smoke can have a major effect on whether we can play soccer or not. Whew. So we're almost 5 minutes into it, and we're just talking about things happening in my life. And there's a lot going on. I like doing stuff to keep me busy. I have passions in my life. Protea is one of them. Soccer is another one, and obviously love spending time with my family. And one of the ways I do that is coaching soccer because both my kids do play. Even though gymnastics is their primary sport, they do love soccer. They're out at a camp at the moment having a ton of fun. But let's get to it. It's a really interesting sort of the flow of things that I've gone through. Share your knowledge, talk up, make sure. I hope you guys all did the homework and reached out to a friend and just checked in on them. I know I sent one to one of my cousin and a good friend from high school as well, just to check in on them, see how they're doing, making sure they're okay. Hopefully you guys did that as well. I asked my team at Protea to do the same thing. I hope that they all follow through with that task. One thing that popped up this morning, and I don't normally sort of just jump in wildly like, hey, this social media post sort of influenced my topic, but today it really did. This morning I was, scrolling on social media, and I saw a post by Kim Kaupe, and she put it down here as a founder of Bright Ideas Only, keynote speaker, moderator, LinkedIn learning instructor, and host of Coffee with Kim, a live weekly podcast, which says, I want to meet CEOs, power players, and celebrities. Join her on Wednesday. She's really very inspirational, puts a lot of great content out, and is one of the trainers on LinkedIn Learning as well. I've watched a couple of courses. I'm very fortunate enough to be connected with her and be able to interact with her on social media. So she put a post out there today, which really resonated to me, especially after a phone call I had with one of my team members today. But this is how the post goes. And I'm going to read it. So it's going to seem a little weird. I know I got a comment, look at the camera more. Sure. This is just me being me. I'm talking to my screen, looking at my notes, keeping track of where I'm going. Yes, I should look at the camera. I should be better. I'm not. I'll try. But right now, I'm going to read. So this morning, it's about an hour ago on the post, so, call it 9 a.m. Pacific, midday Eastern, Kim wrote, think about work in the rules of thirds. 1/3 of the time is going to be amazing. You're on top of the world. 1/3 of the time, it'll be okay. Not great, but not terrible. 1/3 of the time, it's going to really suck. Projects are hard, clients are unbearable. You don't need every day at work to be fantastic. You need to ask yourself, where am I today on the scale? What can I do knowing where I am? On top of the world, keep momentum going. Make a list of the next 3 action steps you can take to keep inching towards your goals. Set out what the 3 steps are, then will do them. You will tell who you tell will and when will check in yourself. Sorry. Terrible reading it. Having an okay day, reach out to others, get curious, ask what they're working on, what they're excited about. Energy is contagious. Don't believe me? Watch any sporting event and the effect the crowd has on the players. The more you surround yourself with energetic, excited people, the more it rubs off on you. Bad day, chalk it up to the rule of thirds. Address that as part of the plan, and the only way out is through. Plan something you love to do outside of work, yoga, pick up a new book, coffee with a friend, coach some soccer. Find simple joys of other parts of your life while you work through this not so great period at work. Work is a mountain. It's not an uphill. It's not a downhill. It will be easy and hard and twisty and unexpected. Recognizing where you are in your journey is half the battle. And I absolutely love this. And I'll tell you why. Way too often, we let work affect our overall life. I had a bad day, life's got to be bad. I had a great day, life is good. And I get it. We spend a lot of hours in a week at work, 40 hours a week. It's a lot, right? On a normal work day, it's 1/3 of our day. 8 of the 24 hours we spend at work. So I understand how it can affect our lives. But what we have to understand is that work can almost never be rainbows, sunshine, and unicorns all the time. I love this rule of 1/3. You're going to have the great days, the just okay days, and the really bad days. Tell the truth, I even look at it wider. I would say 10% of my days are absolutely amazing, 10% are terrible, and 80% are just, they are what they are. This is work at the end of the day. It's just a part of my life. I love my job. Absolutely love it. I am the founder of my own company. Nobody cares about Protea more than I do. And I probably don't even try to think about a third. I understand that sometimes I just have to get stuff done. Then there'll be other days where it'd be absolutely amazing. Today's one of those days. I love coming on here and talking to all of you, the whole 0 concurrent viewers that I have right now. But we can't let one bad day affect our feelings towards the company. I hear it too often. Oh, I had a hard week. It's so tough. Maybe this isn't the place for me. You've been with the company for 3 years. You've had one bad week and you're ready to jump ship. That's tough. That's really, really tough. It's really hard to think of any scenario where I think somebody comes to work and goes, hey, 100% of my days are amazing. Think about it like this way. We're right in the middle of the Olympics right now. There are people at the pinnacle of the sport, the greatest that they'll, the greatest they could ever be. They've reached the top of the mountain. They're doing something they love, and they have an opportunity to shine in front of the world. But sometimes they fall, sometimes they fail, sometimes they have a bad day. Does that one bad fall, one little bit of failure, mean that their whole careers are a failure? No, that would be absolutely ridiculous. Something that people have put time and effort into sometimes just doesn't go their way. Yeah, I'll be coaching soccer in a couple of weeks' time. And if a player takes a shot and he misses the goal, I'm not going to write that player off as a bad player. I mean, a couple of years ago, I had a player, really good player, hustled, worked hard, ran, could probably pass a little bit more. But come through the season, he scored 0 goals. And honestly, if he hit the target twice, the whole season was a lot. It was infuriating because he was a good player. He is a good player. And I still rated him as a good player and a very influential piece within our success that season. But I could have made the goals 10 times the size and he probably still would have missed. That doesn't mean he didn't love soccer. Didn't mean he didn't come back the next season and try harder. Didn't mean I wrote him off as a bad player. Just because he missed the targets on the shooting side didn't mean he didn't add value to our team by making tackles, stealing balls, and going on runs. Why do we think that one bad day at work equals failure on our side or our employer's side? Why do we always get hung up on the bad stuff? Why do we have such short-term memories and could have had 10 good weeks in a row and one bad day, all of a sudden, this is a horrible place to work? I love the idea of thinking about things in thirds. 1/3 great, 1/3 okay, 1/3 not so good. And having an action plan for each of those. Because if you have a great day today, doesn't mean you're going to have a great day tomorrow. But you can use that momentum from today to create more great days. Like Kim says, build a list of tasks you want to hit. So while you have that energy that high, you tackle those difficult tasks. And what? They were super successful. I've had another great moment. In our just okay days, connect with people. Talk to your colleagues, ask them a question, check in how they're doing, have a conversation. Maybe try find a little bit of positivity. Now, this one does take a little bit of work because if you have that colleague that's always, gloomy, down, nothing's good enough, maybe they're not the right person to be reaching out on just an okay day. You want to find those team members that have the good energy, the ones that look at life in a positive manner. Maybe it's even just sitting down with yourself and going, what could I do differently to make this change? Do I maybe need to get some exercise in early? Do I need a break? Am I due for some PTO? I know for a fact all of you are not taking enough PTO. And I'm talking to the majority of you, not to the minority. But I know you're not taking enough time off. So if you're just feeling okay and you're having a bunch of okay days in a row, maybe take some time off. Go sleep, go do something fun, go spend some time with a loved one, go find some fresh energy. Have an outlook on your life and go, oh, maybe it wasn't so bad, just a little boring. It's okay to be boring at work every once in a while. And then in those bad days, remember that not all days are bad. We're talking about a third. It's probably not that big. I mean, a third is a lot, right? But there's ways to counter those bad days. If you're having a bad moment, you're really struggling with a piece of work, well, there's some options, right? Put up your hand. I need some help. I'm really stuck. Or another good way to away from it is just like put it aside. Go do something else. Whenever I'm in a hard moment, I'm really struggling, what I like to do is get outside, go for a short walk, go for a run. Put the thought and that problem in the back of my head and then do something totally unrelated because my brain is going to churn through it in the background. I then can generally come back to that difficult task and it becomes easier. And if it doesn't, then I reach out to somebody else and ask for some help. But what I do remember is all the good moments I had and understand that struggling with this one task is not the end of the world. Struggling with this one task does not define me. And guess what? Nobody expects you to know everything all the time. That's you. You are the only one that expects you to know everything all the time. And remember, the bad times will pass. It's only 1/3 of it. The other 2/3 are okay or great. That's amazing. If 2/3 of your life, your work life, are amazing, celebrate. I promise you there's people that have it worse off. I also want you to take some time and try and remember the difference between great, okay, and not so good. Because sometimes I think we forget that okay is okay and that okay is not terrible. A lot of us tend to inflate the not so good and deflate the great. It's so much more fun to complain about the bad than it is to celebrate the successes. And I want you to change that mindset and I want you to celebrate yourself, celebrate your achievements, and celebrate your success more often. If you're doing something good, be proud of it. I'm proud of you. Be proud of yourself. So let's go back to that post. Think about work in the rule of thirds. 1/3 of the time is going to be amazing. You're on top of the world. 1/3 of that time will be okay. Not great, but not terrible. 1/3 of the time is really going to suck. Projects are hard, clients are unbearable. Kim tells us to think about things in the third and take action depending on where you are in those thirds. If it's amazing, build momentum. If it's okay, figure out ways to improve it. Reach out to colleagues. If you're having a bad day, ask for help, change your environment, go get some exercise, or just chalk it up to it's just one of those bad days. Life is not just rainbows, sunshine, and unicorns. There's going to be a tough moments in them. But the tough moments are what make us stronger and help us appreciate those okay and great days. Take a positive outlook towards your days, focus on the good, learn from the bad, and I promise you, you'll be so much happier. The more you focus on the positive, the better your life will be. The more you think about the positive, the more positive you will find. The more you think about the good, the more good opportunities you come your way. A change in mindset And let's start by using the rule of thirds. It can make such a big difference. Remember, those bad days do not define you. They generally do not last, and there's generally more good than bad. Think of the rules of third. Think of positive thoughts. Have a great week. Be kind. Goodbye.